Hola Year 7, welcome to Lesson 6 of the spring term, and today you will be continuing to look at los infinitivos con las opiniones, infinitives with opinions. Additionally, at the end of the lesson you will have your first experience of a tri-weekly assessment in its new format. And here's a list of the equipment you will need to get ready before today's lesson. Today you will need your Spanish exercise book, a pen, a ruler, and a different coloured pen or highlighter if you have them, or coloured pencils would do the trick. You will also need to click on class charts for the sentence builder grid on slide 5. This should be really helpful and can be opened in a tab. Plus your Module 3 knowledge organiser will help you if you need to with any revision that you're doing. As well as that, you'll find a tri-weekly link on class charts to Teacher Made, and there'll be more details on this and how to complete it at the end of the lesson. Pause if you want to get that ready now, and then I'll continue. Thank you for uploading all your work onto class charts. It's a pleasure to see the progress that you're making with your Spanish. Please do remember to upload evidence of all of your completed work. I would like to see also Quizlet snapshots as well. And make sure you take a photo of all the pages in your book and all the exercises. A second point, it's really important to just follow the indicated time for the completion of each activity. Some of you will answer 5 questions, some of you will only answer 2 within the 5 minutes. That's fine, just move on. I want to see all the different activities noted in your book in order to give you the achievement point, because I know you all work at different rates and have different abilities, so just make sure you really clearly mark each of the different activities, because if only 1 or 2 are completed, then I can't give you an achievement point, sadly. If you do have any questions about the activities in today's lesson or on the tri-weekly assessment itself, then please email me, and here's my email address. As always, Year 7, write down the date. Escribí la fecha. Underline it neatly in your book. This is found on class charts. Then write down your title. Escribir sobre nuestro tiempo libre, to write about our free time. Underline that neatly in your book as well. Then write down your objective, objetivo, which is to write about our free time and what we like and dislike doing. Pause to do that now, and then press play when you're ready to go to the Do Now activity. Okay then, Year 7, your Do Now activity should take about 5 minutes. Don't spend any more time on this. What I want you to do is find the infinitive in each sentence. Okay, now an infinitive is a verb meaning to do something, and infinitives end in AR, ER or IR. So for each of the sentences below, I want you to find the infinitive in each sentence. I want you to write down that infinitive ending AR, ER or IR, and then I want you to translate it into English. So you're writing 2 things down for each one. So let's go through the example together so you see what I mean. Example. Los lunes me encanta salir con mis amigos porque es fantástico. Okay, so we're looking for a verb ending in AR, ER or IR. I haven't seen one so far. Me encanta is a verb, but it's already conjugated. It's not in its infinitive form. But here we have salir. Salir ends in IR, and it's the only verb there ending AR, ER or IR. So that is my answer. So I'm going to write salir. You can see I've underlined the ending, so I'm really clear that is the infinitive, and then I've translated it, and salir means to go out. Okay, pause your video now, spend no more than 5 minutes on this, and just write down the infinitive and the English translation for numbers 1 to 5. Gracias. Okay, let's look at your answers now. So we had the example, salir, to go out. Número 1. You should have written ir al campo, to go to the countryside. Número 2. You should have had hacer. Me encanta hacer deporte. I love to do sport. And you should know that after an opinion verb, we always have the infinitive. So there you find it. 3. Terminar is after an opinion verb. It's got an AR ending, and that's to finish. 4. Los miércoles me gusta jugar al baloncesto. So jugar, ending AR, is your infinitive here, and it's to play. And then the final one is a bit tricky. So hopefully you recognise that an infinitive has to come after an opinion verb. So after me gusta, we've got quedarme. Okay, this is a reflexive verb because it's a verb that you do to yourself. So it's got a me on the end, but we're actually looking at the quedar here. So quedarme is to stay. Hopefully you remember quedar from in your previous lessons. So quedarme is actually your infinitive verb here. Hopefully you worked that out through different processes of elimination and after the opinion verb as well. I'm now going to pass you on to Miss Clinton, who's going to give you the rest of the lesson and give you instructions on your tri-weekly assessment. Have a really good lesson. Email if you've got any questions. Gracias. Adios.
Okay, Year 7. So some of you may have played this game before with the sentence builder. I'm sure you've all heard of, though, the game Bingo. So in a moment, you're going to need to write down 8 items from the sentence builder that you can see in front of you. Now, by 8 items, I mean it might be one single word, or it might be the words that make up that box. So, for example, me encanta, the opinion, would count as one item, even though it's 2 words. Okay? After you've written down your 8 items, or 8 words, you will then need to tick them off as you hear them being read aloud. So I'm going to be reading aloud my own paragraph about my free time. So anything that you hear, for example, if you've written down los miércoles and you hear me say los miércoles, you would then tick that off. You win the game, of course, if by the end of my paragraph you have ticked off all of your 8 items. You can let your teacher know and they can give you an extra achievement point perhaps. Okay, so you need to write down now your 8 items, vocabulary items. Pause your video now. Okay, so I'm now going to read out my paragraph. You can pause it if you need or rewind as much as you need to. Hola, me llamo señorita Clinton y tengo 20 años. En mi tiempo libre hago natación con mis amigos porque es divertido. También juego al baloncesto con mi hermana, pero es malo. Los jueves voy al centro comercial con mi madre y es terrible. Los sábados salgo con mis amigos y es guay. Finalmente, los domingos me quedo en casa porque es relajante. I'll read that one more time to give you an extra listen to tick off any of your items. Hola, me llamo señorita Clinton y tengo 20 años. En mi tiempo libre hago natación con mis amigos porque es divertido. También juego al baloncesto con mi hermana, pero es malo. Los jueves voy al centro comercial con mi madre y es terrible. Los sábados salgo con mis amigos y es guay. Finalmente, los domingos me quedo en casa porque es relajante. Muy bien, Year 7. You can now check off your answers, so perhaps reading back through that paragraph, just checking that you didn't miss off anything as well and ticking off any remaining items. Pause your video if you need to, otherwise you can carry on. Okay, yes, I'm moving on to a listening activity now. I'm going to read out a text to you in a moment. You'll notice my text is actually written on the screen in front of you, however, it's in the incorrect order. Now, what I'd like you to do after listening to my recording, and I'll repeat it twice, you need to write the order of the sentences. You don't need to write the sentences out in full. You simply need to write down the order of the letters. So the order in which I have said each sentence. And I could start you off by telling you, number one, for example, the first sentence, of course, is going to be Hola, me llamo, is going to be letter B, okay, because it's an introduction. Okay, so pens ready, listening carefully, and write the correct order in which you hear the sentences, writing simply the letters only. Hola, me llamo señorita Clinton y tengo 20 años. En mi tiempo libre hago natación con mis amigos porque es divertido. También juego al baloncesto con mi hermana, pero es malo. Los jueves voy al centro comercial con mi madre y es terrible. Los sábados salgo con mis amigos y es guay. Finalmente, los domingos me quedo en casa porque es relajante. Okay, I'm going to read it one more time to you. Hola, me llamo señorita Clinton y tengo 20 años. En mi tiempo libre hago natación con mis amigos porque es divertido. También juego al baloncesto con mi hermana, pero es malo. Los jueves voy al centro comercial con mi madre y es terrible. Los sábados salgo con mis amigos y es guay. Finalmente, los domingos me quedo en casa porque es relajante. Okay, pause your video if you need to make any other changes. And you can check your answers. So you should have written, you can see in red at the top there, B, A, E, F, D, and C. So make any changes if you need to. Otherwise, you can move on with me. So we're now going to do a reading. Year 7, I'd like you to read the text again. So this is exactly what you just heard. In fact, you've heard it 2 times because it was also in your bingo activity. Then I'd like you to answer the questions below in English in your book. So you've got 6 questions to answer there. I'd like you to spend about 10 minutes reading through the text again and then answering the questions in English in your book. Pause your video now. Let's have a look through your answers then. And again, pause your video if you need to make any changes. So number 1, how old is Señorita Clinton? 20. You may have written 20 years old as well, that's fine. So tengo 20 años, that would give you your age for number 1. Which sport does she do with her friends? Swimming. Hago natación con mis amigos. And she says she does it because it is divertido, fun. Number 3, what does she play with her sister and what does she think of it? So juego al baloncesto gave you the first part, basketball. So it's with my sister, con mi hermana, but she thinks it is bad, malo. You might have written rubbish as well, I would accept that. 4, what does she do on Thursdays and who does she go with? Well, she goes, los jueves was the day, so it had to be this action here, voy al centro comercial. I go to the shop, she goes to the shopping centre with her mum. Okay, and on number 6, what does she do on Sundays and why? Sorry, I've missed out number 5, haven't I? On which day of the week does she go out with her friends? She goes out with her friends on Saturdays, los sábados, because she says salgo con mis amigos. And number 6, finally, what does she do on Sundays and why? Well, Sundays, there's the word that gave you there, los domingos. And she stays at home, me quedo en casa. Why? Because it is relajante, relaxing. Okay, so pause your video if you need to make any changes. You're now going to have a practice writing before we start the tri-weekly. Okay, so you can put all your ideas together and get down a nice structure for me. You're going to be, of course, writing about your free time, including opinions and reasons, but let's have a look in closer detail. So I'd like you to include at least 3 activities you do in your free time. If you can say on which day of the week you do them, who you do them with as well. Remember, you get really high points in Spanish for including lots of opinions and reasons. So can you try and include at least 3 opinions, reasons, and make sure they're a mix of positive and negatives. Okay, if you just say me gusta 3 times porque es divertido, if you repeat the same things, you won't get extra marks for that. That would just count as one opinion. Okay. Remember, as a hint, you need your infinitives after your opinion phrases. Okay. So here's my text again if you want help with yours. And as I was saying, of course, if you're giving opinions, you need your infinitives. Okay, so pause your video now and write me your model paragraph. Off you go. Okay, so we're on to the tri-weekly assessment now. Listen to the instructions very carefully, Year 7, because of course this is the first time you've done it remotely. So I'd like you to put all your learning materials to one side. In a moment, you'll need to go back onto class charts and click, and there should be a teacher-made link on there for you to click. Okay, you're going to spend about 15 minutes completing as many boxes as you can. So it's the same format as before. You'll start off with section 1, which is vocabulary, section 2, grammar, and then section 3, you'll write your own paragraph. Okay. If you are finding it hard, okay, unlike when we're in school, you are allowed to use your exercise book, okay? But try and do that just as a last resort if you really, really are stuck. Okay, you will receive an achievement point for completing classwork and your tri-weekly assessment to the best of your ability. Please note, your tri-weekly will not be graded as you usually would normally get developing, progressing or mastery, but you will receive a score instead. Okay, the program teacher made, of course, it's the first time we're using it as well. So, you know, just bear with us on that. Of course, it won't pick up nuances. So, for example, if you use a synonym for a word, for example, if you write, I don't know, because rather than as, which means the same thing, we would probably tick it in class and say that was correct, whereas this program might not do. So don't be too disheartened with the score. It's just a general overall score, okay, as an estimation, approximation rather than a fixed percentage, okay. So your teacher will look at your tri-weekly and use what the class has done overall as feedback for the next lesson. Your next lesson, so lesson 7, be aware that this will be a live lesson, okay? And this will be explained, I'm sure you will have heard about this, or you will be hearing about this over the next few days and how that will work. Okay, so you can start your tri-weekly assessment. Just remember, you don't forget to click on the I'm done button when it is completed. And
fantastic work today, Year 7, really well done. Please now can you upload a photo of your classwork onto class charts, everything you've done today in the lesson, all the different activities that you've done, and also make sure you submit your tri-weekly assessment onto Teacher Made. So there you have to click that you're done and you have to click OK. Really well done. I look forward to our next lesson. Gracias. Adios.